Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Coach Josh, and welcome you guys out to my Facebook Live, my YouTube channel, my podcast. I want to say thank you guys so much for the constant support you show me on all networks and all channels, man. Like I said before, I'm doing my best to give these as often as I can. Each day of the week, because I really do believe that each and every one of us can glean from our devotion. So these videos is kind of as a coach is endeavoring to get you guys into a rhythm of finding the true, or to find deeper insights from your reading, deeper insights in your fellowship with God. And so that's what I want to kind of give you guys, daily plays as often as I can every day, plays that can kind of get you going. So today in my readings, I was reading in Mark chapter, I forgot what Mark chapter 8. And it was an part of Mark chapter 8 where the Pharisees were demanding a sign from Jesus. They were coming to him to argue with him, to debate. You know, haters like to debate. And so they wanted to debate with Jesus and try to test him to get him to bring a sign from heaven. And as I was reading that, I was thinking, like, how many signs do we miss every day? But in our prayer time, in our frustrations, we demand a sign from God. And so I came up with this message really quickly, asking ourselves, what signs are we missing? But let's get into some of the points that I wrote down real quickly. And if you watch this on Facebook Live, do me a big favor and share. If you watch it on YouTube, share, all that good stuff. But one of the things that came to my mind as I was processing this moment in Jesus' life on earth was that many of us are asking God for signs, but haven't clearly interpreted the signs he has obviously given us. Many of us are looking for wrong signs while overlooking the signs that are obvious. Many of us are demanding a sign from God. God, are you here? God, are you near? God, do you hear my prayers? God, are you going to manifest this? Are you going to bring me my wife, my husband? Are you going to give me this promotion? We demand a sign as if God hasn't given us obvious signs in our lives. And many of us are trapped in the frustration periods of our life because we're upset with God. And you heard me say this many times. Be very careful what you do when you're upset with God, because when that upset feeling has subsided, you begin to realize that I made a lot of mistakes while I was mad at God. God has given each and every one of us obvious signs for us to see, but we have been blinded in what we're demanding. How many of you guys right now are blinded by the obvious signs in your life, but you are demanding God to prove? God doesn't have to prove anything in life. There's proof. He says, man, I don't gotta play peekaboo with you guys. I don't have to show my face. I don't have to prove anything, because my proof is in my creation. My proof is all around you. And when you get so caught up on asking and demanding and seeking versus observing what's obvious, you'll find yourself always frustrated with God. God is saying, man, everything about my walk, or with your walk with me, is predicated on you knowing me. Instead of trying to know what I have for you, do you know me? Are you more concerned with the mindset of what God has for me? I want to know what he has for me versus knowing him. He is the prize. He is the person. But so many of us get so consumed with, God, show me a sign. God, give me a sign. And God said, why would I give a sign to a person who can't interpret the previous signs? Why would God send you something new to interpret if you haven't finished interpreting the previous sign? Let's give the definition of a sign before I get into my points. A sign communicates a specific message to a specific group for a specific purpose. A sign communicates a specific message to a specific group for a specific purpose. A sign on a highway is a specific message to the specific drivers for a specific purpose. Every sign in life has a specific message to a specific group for a specific purpose. There's signs everywhere. And many of us, the reason why we're not implementing or cannot interpret is because we don't have intimacy. Intimacy with God will help you interpret and implement the signs. The reason why many believers are lost, the reason why many believers are frustrated, the reason why many believers are not where they need to be is because of poor intimacy. It's poor relationship with God. They're not intimate with him. They're not engaging with him. The more you're intimate with God, the more you will be able to interpret his obvious signs. The more you'll be able to interpret his daily signs. The more intimate you with God, you will begin to build yourself with the fervor to actually implement the purpose of that sign. But many of us are so distracted and either looking for a sign or are consumed or frustrated with the signs that haven't been implemented, that they've been distracted with developing a relationship with the one that is the only one that can give you the right perspective of how to interpret a sign and to actually implement the purpose of that sign. That's why we have to build our intimacy with God so that when we find ourselves in situations, when we find ourselves in frustrations, when we find ourselves in any area of our life, we will be able to interpret immediately the intent and the purpose of the situation. It doesn't matter who you are. When your relationship with God begins to wane and you're not as focused as you need to be, you will miss the obvious signs. These Pharisees were frustrated because their whole system was about to be toppled. This Messiah is boasting amongst the people that they had in control for hundreds of years, boasting that their current system is no longer needed, boasting and or portraying or through speech, letting them know that there's a new order, that there's a new way, that there's a gospel. And these Pharisees was frustrated day in and day out because they were saying, is this the Messiah? Because if I read the scriptures, if I go back to the Old Testament and I begin to navigate the text, I will know that this Messiah will cause me not to have a job. And these Pharisees were trying to ask, Jesus, show me a sign from heaven. Jesus, show us, give us a sign. But he says, I'm not going to give a sign to this generation. I'm not going to give a sign because if you can't interpret me, how are you going to interpret everything else? See, many of us, the reason why we're not successful is because we haven't fully interpreted who Jesus is. Until you interpret who he is, he ain't going to give you no other sign. So intimacy is first. In order for me to be able to interpret what it means to be a man, to interpret what it means to be a woman for you, interpret what it means to be a father, a husband, a ministry leader, a businessman, or whatever I endeavor to be, I must know how to interpret the man Christ Jesus. I begin to interpret him and what he did for me and what the crucifixion means and the resurrection means and being seated by the Father means until I'm able to interpret who he is. Because if I can't interpret the individual, how can I build intimacy? And if I can't build intimacy, how can I interpret the signs? And if I can't even interpret the signs, how can I implement the right things in my life? I must know the man. I must know the individual. I must know why he did what he did, so I will be able to know who I am. If I don't know who he is and why he did what he did, I won't know who I am. And you won't know who you are. When I know the individual, he will begin to give me an access of intimacy. And as I begin to engage in the intimacy, I will begin to interpret the obvious signs in my life that's going to first lead me to change, that's going to secondly lead me into deeper relationship with God, and it's going to thirdly lead me deeper into my purpose. Now, I have this thing here. Lost my voice. I've been talking a lot this week. Don't miss these signs. You see the acronym SIGNS. Do not miss these signs. We talked about how the more I get to know the individual, the more my intimacy builds. As my intimacy begins to build, I begin to interpret the obvious signs. And as I begin to interpret the obvious signs, I will begin to implement the right things in my life. We talked about a sign is a sign. A sign communicates a specific message to a specific group for a specific purpose. God wants to communicate a specific message to you today. He wants to communicate a specific message for you every day to you for a specific purpose. Signs are like symptoms. Symptoms are a type of signs. Symptoms let you know that something is not going well or going right in your body. When you overlook the symptoms and when you overlook the sign, there will be consequences. The reason why there's a lot of consequences in a lot of our lives is because we have been ignoring the obvious symptoms. So these are the 5 things you must interpret. You must not miss. These signs are in your life every day that you must address before you go deeper into life. Number 1, S, you must interpret the signs in your situation. In your situation. Right now, in your current situation, there are many signs. As you drive in life, and when you drive, not in life, but when you drive in your car, there's signs everywhere. In your present place, there's signs everywhere. If I park in the middle of a marketplace, there's signs to this store. There's a sign for that store. There's a sign, a road sign. There's a marketplace sign. There's a restaurant sign. There's signs everywhere. In your situation where you're currently parked and what you're going through, there's obvious signs in your situation. That's why the Bible talks about count it all joy when you go through various trials or various situations, because there's a testing there. There's a pruning there. There's growth there. In your situation, there's a sign. In that situation right now, you can see the obvious. Many of us are so busy looking ahead that we're not looking around. When you look into your situation, what do you see? Right now on a sheet of paper or for your play today, I want you to write down your situation, everything that you're going through right now. And I want you to take some time to say, what all could God be communicating to specific to me? And what purpose does the situation hold? Sometimes we get so caught up on dreaming about a future situation that we haven't dissected our current situation. Some of us got to stop dreaming and start dissecting. When you keep living in a fairy tale world, you're going to have if you keep living in a fairy tale world, you're going to find yourself in reality, real consequences. You have to look at your situation, say, God, what are you trying to communicate in my life now? Are you pruning me? Are you promoting me? Are you developing me? How could this coworker be used for my good? How could this situation be used for my good? People think that things work together for their good, for their external good, not their internal good. Most of the things around you are working on the in you, the you. They're working for your greater good. I'm talking about your exterior good. It's working for, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that's eventually going to work for your promotion. It's going to work for your success. But things around your situation right now is actually working for your interior good to make sure that you are pruned to be the best person you can be. Right now in your situation, what are the signs that God is trying to communicate to you? What is he trying to let you know about you? Secondly, inside. The I is inside. Don't miss the signs that are inside. When things in your situation begin to reveal themselves to you, most of the time, those things God uses to show you what's inside of you. What are those signs inside? The symptoms, the signs of your physical health, the signs of your spiritual health, the signs of your emotional and mental health. What are those signs? Every time I feel a symptom, I address it. So many of us address our symptoms when it's too late. Right now, God has implemented within your framework as an individual signs to let you know your internal health. There are spiritual signs, emotional signs, mental signs, and physical signs that we must address for our success. Every day I have to see and examine my body. Where, if I have a pain here, if I have a pain here, if I have a pain in my knee, I got to address it. When I feel immediate or new pain, I must address the symptom. And I got to ask myself, what's the source of this symptom? What's the source of this pain? Some of the signs on the inside of us or the signs outside of us are a reflection of us missing the signs inside. When I don't examine my spiritual health and I see the spiritual decay in my life and I don't see the effects of a poor spiritual walk, If I don't address that, I will find myself in physical harm. If I don't address my mindset, my mental condition, my mental system symptoms, that man, these negative thought patterns have me walking down the wrong path. That if I don't address these mental patterns, these mental symptoms or signs, then I will find myself in poor health and in poor situations. As a man thinketh in their heart or mind, so is he. That out of the heart flows the issue of life, that you are what you think. And if I don't address these negative thinking systems that's on the inside of me, these signs that are showing me that you're thinking improperly, then I will find myself in a place of life that I don't want to be in. I got to address my emotional health, my emotional symptoms. When these things are in my life, negative emotions come. If I can't get rid of these things in my life, then I got to change the way I react to these situations. Listen, your mom might always get on your nerves. Your wife may never leave. Your husband may never leave. There are current conditions in your life that are not going to leave, or they may not leave for a while. And you got to change the way you perceive those things so you can no longer react negatively. So many of us are where we are because of poor emotional and mental health. I got to also check my body. Every time I feel pain, why am I feeling this pain? Signs are inside. You cannot overlook those. You can't afford to miss the signs in your situation and the signs inside. The next, G, the signs in your grind. Your grind will give you signs. I remember there's a point in my ministry where I was grinding too hard. I was doing everything. And my grind began to affect my insides. And my insides began to affect my situations. So many of us grind too hard, or some of us don't grind at all. There's signs in your grind. Your gift makes room for you. If you don't grind on your gift, if you don't grind and get it done, your situation won't change. There's something about grinding that reveals things. There's signs in your grind that as you begin to grow and you begin to master your craft, and you begin to work hard and you begin to do certain things, your grind begins to change things in you, and your grind will eventually change your situations. That there are signs around you that God is saying, grind, go get it, my daughter, go get it, my son, go get it. He's showing you signs like you are able. I qualified you. Don't worry about what you don't have. Don't worry about what other people say. I called you. And so many of you guys are procrastinating, ain't doing nothing. And God has showed you clear signs that if you want to change, if you want your situation to change, go get it. God ain't gonna make things easy for you. Stop asking God to make things easy and execute. So many of us make so many excuses, and those excuses eliminate our effectiveness. God is giving you a sign to grind. He's saying, go get it, possess the land. So many of us are like the other spies, not like Caleb and Joshua. See, your grind is your go-gettingness, or your grind is predicated on your perspective. Your boy Joshua and Caleb went into the Canaan land and was like, yo, we're well able to possess this land. The other spies was like, we are grasshoppers in their eyes. What side are you on? Are you a Caleb and Joshua, where you say we are well able to possess the land because who is with us? Or are you like the other spies that's sitting there saying we are as grasshoppers? Either the giants, either in your mind, your giants are as grasshoppers to you, or in your mind, you are a grasshopper to your giant. Right now, either your giant is a grasshopper to you, or you a grasshopper to your giant. What's your perspective? Right now, everything I want in life is as a grasshopper to me. Now I'm not like a grasshopper to them. And you're grinding. God is saying, man, here's signs to go. And sometimes God got signs to slow. Some of us, we grind too much, and God is giving you the signs internally and in your situation that you need to slow down. God is going to put signs in your life that's like, you need to slow down because you're hurting your body. You're hurting your family. When you grind too hard, it wears your body out. It grinds your body out. When you grind too hard, you begin to see your daughter. You're losing your daughter now. You're losing your son. You're losing your family. You're losing your health. For some of us right now, God has signs for us to go, and God has signs for us to slow. Man, I am dark. Give me 1 second. Give some light. Let the light shine on Coach Josh. I'm in the shade. Anyway, and number 4, there's signs in your network. There's signs in your network. Right now, is your net working for you or is it working against you? Your net. A net is what a fisherman casts out into the sea to gather fish. Right now, when you're in your network, your people, your sphere of influence, is your net working for you or is your net working against you? My network of friends are small. My network of counsel is small. And in that net is working for me. When a net is not tight and when a net is not strong, it can't work for you. If you have a weak net, you can't catch fish. Your net has to be stronger than what you're catching. That's powerful. Your net must be stronger than what you're catching. If your network of people is not stronger than what you're aspiring for, then your fish will break the net. So you got to see the signs in your network. Who's a great councilman or great councilwoman? Who's a great friend or who's not a great friend? And God will give you signs of their loyalty. He'll give you signs of their character. He'll give you signs of their faithfulness. He'll give you the signs of how good they are. But many of us, we overlook the signs in people because we are lonely. Because I want my situation to change and I'm sad on the inside and I need help to grind. You start welcoming all kinds of people in your network. And then when it's catching season, you lose your catch. How strong is your network? How strong are your friends? How strong is your community? How strong is your accountability? How strong are they? Because are they working for you? So when it's time to catch something, you got strong counsel. I read in Proverbs the other day that a person with counsel can wage war. How can you wage war with bad counsel? How you gonna try to get married and you can't wage war against the warfare against your marriage? Because you don't got the right counsel, that you're so fast to do things. You got a bunch of yes men and yes women around you. Yes, you can go do it, boo. Yes, hey, yo, bro, you can go do it, go get it. But you're going after something that you can't catch, that when it's time to actually catch it, you lose everything. I refuse to work hard for 10, 12 years on my purpose, that when it's time to catch a building, when it's time to catch promotion, when it's time to catch more people, when it's time to catch more influence, when it's time to catch more money, when it's time to catch that I am too weak because I haven't been sharpened by my sharpeners. You need to surround yourself with people that sharpening you. A dull knife can't sharp a sharp knife. It can't. You need something sharper to sharpen you. How strong is your network? God is giving you signs right now in the people that you surround yourself with. He's saying, baby girl, he's saying, daughter, son, you need to get this person out your life because when it's time to catch something, they ain't going to be able to help you pull the fish in. You need a network of people that will help you carry all the dimes in, the pennies, the nickels, the dollars in, the buildings in, the land in. You need strong counsel that when you go out there, your counsel dude will tell you through the Holy Spirit, that's a bad deal. You need people that are champions where you're going, so that when you get there, they'll teach you how to catch what's in your life. Number 5, there's signs in what you're seeking for. There's signs in what you're seeking for. It's not necessarily what you're seeking for, it's the reasons why you're seeking it. God will reveal to you, God will actually allow you to go seek things. The prodigal son asked for pops, yo, pops, where's my inheritance? I'm ready to go. The father said, okay, here's your inheritance. Go. God ain't going to keep you from going if you really want to go. And sometimes God will let you go. He'll let you go seek a sign. He'll let you go seek a person. He'll let you go seek sex. He'll let you go seek enjoyment. He'll let you go seek pleasure. He'll let you go. And then in your seekingness, you will find yourself eating with pigs, with broke, and you will begin to see that you had it better. I stay true to God because I don't want my seeking to lead me to leaking. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my seeking, because your seeking is either leading you into leaking or to succeeding. Your seeking is either helping you succeed or your seeking has caused you to leak. As the prodigal son was seeking for more freedom, he lost money, he lost friends, he lost everything to the point that he was eating with pigs. God will let you go If you really want to go, God will show you signs in your situation. He'll show you signs on the inside. He'll show you signs in your grind. He'll show you signs in your network. And if you overlook all those signs, he'll let you keep seeking, because he says, you know what? In your seeking, you will see clearly. That's why it's best for you to look at your situation deeper. It's best for you to look inside deeper. It's best for you to look at your grind deeper. It's best for you to look in your network deeper, because if you avoid those signs, he'll let you go seek for another source. And when you go seek for another source, either you're going to return back to him, or it's going to be proven that you don't even want him at all. What are you seeking for? What are you looking for? We're looking for hope, love, joy in all the wrong places. He says, I'm the sign. The Messiah was trying to tell the people, Jesus in his time when he was on earth, he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man can come to the Father but by me. I am the door. I am the way. I'm the narrow way. I am the person. And if you can't interpret the sign Jesus that's before you every day, you won't be able to interpret your situation. You won't be able to interpret what's inside of you. You won't be able to interpret your grind. You won't be able to interpret your network, and you won't be able to interpret what you're seeking. Right now, what are the signs in your life right now? Because God wants you to see everything in him. And when you put that glasses on and you begin to get your mind renewed and to see differently, you will be able to see that right now in your life, you are surrounded by 70 plus signs. If you really could see the signs that's around you right now, it's more than just one. God, there's probably 15 signs in your situation. There's probably 20 signs on the inside of you. There's probably 40 signs in your grind. There's probably a bunch of signs in your network. There's probably a bunch of signs in what you're seeking for. But how many of us are too blind to see the signs? Right now, what do you see around you? What are you overlooking? Because whatever you overlook, you will have to look in the eye one day. Everything you overlook, you will be forced to look at eventually. Stop overlooking the obvious and embrace the individual who would then give you the opportunity to build intimacy, which would then renew your mind. And in that renewal in your mind and that intimacy that develops, you will begin to interpret the signs in your situation, interpret the signs on the inside, interpret the signs in your grind and your network and what you're seeking for. And you will begin to implement the changes you need to implement for your success. I pray this message was a blessing. Share this message to everyone if it's been a blessing to you, because we all got signs in life that we've been overlooking. Don't be like the Pharisees who try to test Jesus for a future sign when you can't clearly interpret the signs that's in your life right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to know more about what I do, go to my website, iamunplugged.com. If you want to get involved, or get me out to your city, you can do that there. If you're watching on YouTube, there's links in the description boxes below. And stay in your word, man. That came from one little small verse. All this came from a little verse from my devotion. Imagine what God wants to give you from your devotion. If I can do it, you can do it. Yes, I may have put a lot of work in this, and yes, I may be more whatever in my walk with God, but you can start today. You have the greatest teacher inside of you, and in your readings, your proverb a day, your gospel a month, you will begin to see how to grow. Now, here's your daily play. Here's your play for this weekend. Today, I want you to write down everything. I want you to write down 5 categories, or 5 pieces of paper, or 5 sections. I want you to write in one section on one paper, situations. Another paper, inside. Next paper, your grind. Your next paper, your network. And next paper, what you're seeking for. You can do it all on one paper or multiple papers. I may make a worksheet for you guys later. What I want you to do, I want you to write down everything that's going on in your situation right now. Everything in your situation right now. What you're going through, your frustration, your pain, your prosperity, your promotion, everything good, bad, and ugly in your situation. And right beside each of those things, what could that thing be telling you? Right. Next column, inside. What are all the symptoms in your physical health, emotional health, mental health, and spiritual health? What are all the symptoms in your mind, emotions, body, and in your spirit? Write down all the symptoms. Is there depression? Is there unforgiveness? Is there ego? Is there lust? Write down everything. Is there arthritis? Is there back pain? Is there cancer? Is there whatever? Write down everything in your body, soul, spirit, and mind. And beside that, what what sources do you need? What resource do you need to implement in your life to reverse those negative effects? Number one is the source with God. The more you build intimacy, you'll begin to see why the cancer is there. You'll be able to see why the pain is there. And some of the things you got to search for. There are a lot of things that you could do right now that can reverse your poor spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health. I want you to write down your grind. What are those slow or no signs in your life? Look at your situation. Look on your inside. And is your grinding you inside, messing your insides up? Or is it affecting your situation? I want you to look at all of that. Your network, or actually in your grind, write down what you're grinding for or what you're supposed to grind for, and write down if you're supposed to know or slow. Your network, I want you to write down every person in your network, from who you watch on YouTube to who you listen to on your podcast. I want you to write down the people that's around you that you can touch physically, and the people you are influenced by. Write down everyone in your network, and beside each person, write down if they're a strong net or a weak net. Write down if there's a strong cord in your net, a strong rope in your net, or a weak rope in your net, and write down who you need to get off your net work, etc., etc. And number 5, write down what you're really seeking for. And in this exercise, you'll be able to see all the signs in your life right now. And after you write all those things down, I want you to write down, are these things pointing me to Christ or away from him? What are those things that Christ wants you to implement in your life right now that you cannot interpret due to a lack of intimacy? It all boils down with intimacy and building it with God. Pray it was a blessing. Links below if you're on YouTube. Links in the description box if you're on the podcast listening. Facebook, once I get off the live, I'll post those links there. If you want to get involved, give me out to your city in November. I'd love to come to your college, your church, your school, wherever you need me to come speak, I would love to. You can book me now. Ask for a quote today if you need life coaching. If you need me to coach you, I'm doing some afternoon and weekend coaching sessions in the fall, rest of the summer, fall, and maybe spring. A lot of people have been asking for coaching, so I want to open some time, not a lot of time, to life coaching, relationship coaching, whole person coaching, transition coaching. Transition mean like divorce, moving, etc. like that. Youth mentoring. I offer that, and there's some other things that I forgot. But go to my website, mycoachjosh.com, for coaching. If you want to give to support our adult coaching mentoring programs in Charlotte, as well as our youth mentoring programs. Right behind me is my school, Briarwood. We start Monday. We had an open house yesterday. So if you want to support by donating school supplies, donating money, our mentoring program starts in February. And last year we had 40 students. The year before that we had about 41 students. So we've mentored over 80 students. Some of those kids will be coming back to us in the spring. So we may have up to 60 or 70 kids. And we'll love your support if you want to give, because we want to make sure they have food, snack. We got workbooks for them. We want to make sure we can take them on a field trip. So we'll need your help. What else? I think that's it. If you're in the Charlotte area, every first Sunday, September 2nd, going forward, we have a service every first Sunday for those who want to travel to it. If you're like, hey man, I want to see Coach Josh in person, I want to be able to take a workshop live, you can be able to join me every first Sunday and every third Thursday at Project 658. Every first Sunday you'll have poetry, coaching, community support, as well as the creative arts implemented. And every third Thursday we work on the fundamentals. So if you're in the Charlotte area, you want to travel, go to our website now to find out when our next events are in September 2nd and September 20th are our next events. I would love to see you guys in person. I think that's it. Love you guys. Be blessed. Hey, do this exercise so you can see all the signs in your life. Peace.